Oh, you love that. All right. So I'm curious. I have finally been blessed with the privilege to be able to go live um, from mobile, which gives me an opportunity to come out here and just kind of chat a little bit. So I'm hopeful somebody eventually shows up here. As you can see, I have strategically placed myself with the putting green in the background. The Longineer. What's going on, man? How's it going? Happy Sunday. Andy's Lawn Care and Outdoor Adventures. What is up to you as well? Man, this is exciting. I'm pumped that I got people actually here and in the chat. Minnesota Grass Geek, what's up? Um, yeah, I'm experimenting. I have no idea. I'm probably going to be terrible at this, just talking to the camera, whatever. But thank you on the putting green. Yeah, that was kind of. It's not my first live stream, but it's my first live stream on mobile where I don't really have any idea what I was going to talk about. I was going to have a beer here quick before I got a little bit of work to do and going to see if anybody showed up. Most of the ones that I've done before this, nobody shows up to, and I just talk to myself for a half hour and then use it as a video later. But yeah, with a couple people here, kind of interested maybe. So a couple of videos coming up that I want to plan for is talking about having a putting green in the backyard, and I want to kind of go through. So I started doing that with the Great States and just cutting it as low as that would go and kind of using it as just a chipping whatever area. And then I found that McLean manual reel and kind of got that down a little bit lower last fall. And then now with this spring actually having a true greens mower, and kind of how to go about doing that. And it's not really as hard as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I didn't. My parents were here today, and it was a halfway decent day. Minnesota Grass Geek, and so I spent most of the day outside, so I didn't watch much of it. Looked like it wasn't all that interesting until Hideki made the really just bogeyed 18 to make it a one-shot win. But up until then, it looked like he was pretty much in control. But yeah. So I've actually been. I mean, this year has been incredible for the weather here. Like, my yard has no business looking like it does right now on like a normal April 10th or April 11th, whatever the date is today. And so, like, to have had fertilizer applications down, I've got pre-emergence down at both of my in-laws' houses and projects that we got going on. We just got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain over the last 3-4 days, and then today we got some sun. So the yard is just going nuts. I am Longineer. I am just south of. I'm in a southwestern Milwaukee suburb. I'm in Muskego, Wisconsin. Lake House Lawn Care. What's up, Kyle? Yeah, Andy. It's insane to be. Maybe I'd have like one charity mow in by now, but like I had the first cleanup mow and then an actual like cut grass off, and it's striped up with the Gravely the other day. I got been moving the height of cut on the greens mower back and forth between the fairway section, which I finally cut down, and it's amazing. Even this is my first experience with larger area reel mowing, and it's basically weeds back there, but it's actually amazing how good you can make just like clover and some random bent grass look when it's cut at a 1/2 inch. Like, it just looks good always. And it's going to be hard to prevent myself from starting to transition the better part of 20,000 square feet to reel mode, because I don't have the time for that. But man, it looks unreal. Anybody else? What's everybody got going on here on a Sunday night? So, yes, yeah, 20,000 square feet is a lot. I think. So I'm trying to think. Back behind me, the main treated area back behind me is 6,400 square feet. Then I have another 1,000 on both sides of the house. The front yard is 7,000, and then the side yard that I started to treat last year is about 3,500 square feet, and then there's another I paced off the other night. So with that buckthorn, so you never used to be able to see this house back here. It was all just overgrown buckthorn and brush, and we cut that down at the end of last year. And so now that that's going to see some sunlight, I'm absorbing that into kind of I'm trying to treat it like a fairway to be able to chip up the hill to the putting green, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's another 2,600 square feet back there that I've gained. That is new yard space. Forecast is mid-50s and cloudy for the next. Yeah, and thank you. But yeah, it's the weather is going to pretty much just park itself in the mid to upper 50s here for the next 10 to 15 days, and with rain here and there, and I would imagine everything's just going to start to go nuts. We've actually had mosquitoes here, which that's unheard of. I have been sunburned already this year, which is insane as well. Sunburned and bit by mosquitoes by April 11th. Lawn engineer, I'm not doing pre-emergent here in my yard. I'm giving for a couple reasons, one of which is an experiment to see what happens. But even in the areas of my yard that I haven't put pre-emergent on in years past, I don't seem to have a crabgrass problem. It's just not out here, so we'll see kind of what happens. But I figured it allows me to take an experiment and see if anything does happen and go wrong, and then I can speak from that experience. And then also with some discussions around, I can't really get a sense of whether or not it's actually a big deal on whether some of that root pruning effect is a problem. But I figure if I'm not solving an issue, I might as well not put the pre-emergent down. I'm not going to seed. I'm not really going to do anything. I just might as well save the money. What I have done is I have put pre-emergent down on the brother-in-law and the mother-in-law. So both of those cheap, low-cost programs have both had it done. Because soil temps were as high as like 65 at one point, which is also absurd for this point. Let's see if I missed anything. Yeah. Kyle, man. I'm assuming a video come out. Were you soil leveling or sand leveling this time? Or doing your crazy, at least I think it was you that did the like pull up the sod and then level underneath and then put the sod back down, which of the leveling procedures were you using? What's up, Ocean? Just muscles, man. We can't all, I mean, none of us can really flex with, oh, I'm assuming this is starting to feel like that's probably a bot. That's okay. We can deal with that. Will the pre-emergent stop spurge? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I know Tenacity doesn't, because the first seeding project I did in the front. Oh, what's up, Super TA? Welcome, man. The first section I did, I went seeding with Tenacity, and I thought the Tenacity app failed, but it was actually just because that's not labeled for spurge, and just, yeah, spurge took over. Purslane, specifically, just absolutely took over everywhere. And so I thought it failed, and so then I decided I was going to save the money and effort with the second phase of seeding that I did, and then that just got taken over by every other weed on the planet. Fortunately, that's all pretty simple fix, but nice. That's good to know. Fortunately, I'm hopeful that most of the healthy parts of my yard will just outcompete most of the weed problems. I know the Kentucky bluegrass in the front hasn't had issues with that really at all, so I'm kind of hopeful there. And then the backyard, I'll just deal with whatever comes up. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I've put, so far this year, I've been able to get aerate and RGS down twice on the putting green, and then I put down about 5 pounds of a 10-10-10 across the whole yard. Soil test came back continuing to be low in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, although are starting to actually see some progress there. I've been hopeful that doing some other things I'd be able to address my pH being a little bit higher, but it's looked like I'm going to have to actually bring in some intentional sulfur going forward, because whatever I'm doing now isn't yet solving that problem. So keep putting down potassium, because that seems to be addressing the calcium and magnesium being way, way high. And then, yeah. Who has the best pro sports grass? It's Augusta. It literally can't be anywhere else. It has to be Augusta National. I know like baseball diamonds and sports fields and stuff like that get into striping and the cool patterns and stuff, but Augusta's immaculate. Oh man, other than Augusta. Then I don't know. Probably some of the like it's got to probably be one of the like English Premier League type fields. I don't watch any baseball. It's not a sport I love, so I don't have like which one of the stadiums has uh the best infield turf, and all the football stadiums just get chewed up. So it's got to be some like Old Trafford or something probably. So Kyle did some leveling. What did anybody what some other folks do here? Do they? Man, I find that hard to believe, but it would explain how they. I don't think they paint it. I think what I've seen, because I was actually speculating this myself, because there's no stripes like anywhere, but I've seen videos of basically they're just driving like 30 fairway mowers around, and they just go like basically they'll drive down the path, and then once they get to the fairway, they just all fan out, and it's so cool because you just have probably like $1 million worth of fairway mower just driving in like one team, just one off of the other, and I think they cut it all in the same direction. That's why you don't see stripes, but I don't actually know that for sure. Huh. It could be. I don't know. All the attention to detail and all the spectacle and everything, I feel like that maybe they do that for some spots that are issues, but I don't know. That'd really rain on the old parade. What else? Some people said what they did. What do we have going on here? Mowed on Friday. Yeah, I have. So down the hill, there hasn't been like turf grass back there. It's been just densely shaded, so it's a lot of like creeping Charlie or whatever, and it is down the hill. It's in like a drainage ditch, and that is just soup. So I actually turning around with the greens mower down there when I was cutting it, I took a pretty good slip. Unfortunately, those things weigh 1,000,000 pounds, so I was able to just like hold myself up with it, but I was pretty much full on skating behind the greens mower in the mud back there, and I decided maybe it wasn't a great idea to keep doing that. Couple charity mows. Minnesota Grass Geek, those are some of the best because you get everything cleaned up and you just kind of get the brown tips clipped off. You get that little late 90s, early 2000s highlight taken off, and everything just starts to look better, gets you excited about when everything's going to actually get started. pH near 8. Woo! Yeah, that's one of those things that I don't actually know a lot of like I'm not big into the science beyond whatever I'm able to pick up from either John Perry or Matt Martin. So I have no idea how much. That's probably like with what I've seen from application rates for sulfur, that's got to be like 1,000 pounds per thousand or something to move your pH that much. They have the beast mode. There are some putting greens that are just POA. I feel like if it's by its own, it can look halfway decent. Just let it. I guess you can just let it take over and just have the old POA putting green. The other thing I learned, one thing I didn't realize is where the course in Dallas where they were having the match play. It was like a chewings fescue or like a fine fescue was what they had their putting greens. I had no idea you could cut any variety of fescue at that kind of height, which I can't even imagine. Like today I cut at 0.225 of an inch on the putting green, and I posted a picture to Instagram. It's the actual grass blades are at about a 1/4 inch or so, And it's amazing how short that looks. I can't even imagine, like, kind of the goal and target here is to get down to like 5:30 seconds or even lower. Um, and I like it's so short. I can't get over how short it is to get, and the fact that maybe have to go like in half on the height that I'm at to actually get a legitimate putting surface back there. Oh, nice. Thanks, Vince. I'll have to take a look at that. With the Minnesota, I'd like to do something with Jason G. So my parents are from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which is about 25 minutes to a half hour, depending where he is exactly in the Fox Valley. Um, but my parents live up there, and we're up there quite often. And there is a buddy of mine that I've been doing live streams, or not live streams, but kind of podcast type videos with for learning gardening over on his channel. It's Midwest Workshop and Garden, I believe. I think is I should know in his videos. But so I want to visit his garden when I go up there at some point, and I would like to get together with Jason G as well and meet up. I think that would be cool. I want to get together with. It's kind of the plan to get together with some of the Chicago guys as well. What's up, George, man? How's it going? No, Super T, you're not blocked. I see you. I see you. If you said something that I should have responded to, I'm sorry. Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And that's actually not something I'm familiar with. Is if in like winter climates, if a fall pre-emergent does anything to help you earlier in the spring. That's something I'd actually want to look into to see if that's something if that picks up some of the like earlier germinating issue grasses or dandelions or like those types of things. Oh, George, you got a cut on the Kentucky bluegrass yet, or is it looking just as sad as mine is out front? It's just finally now starting to like look like something that could be considered grass. If people didn't know, like that's the most expensive part of my yard, and right now it is far and above the worst looking section of my yard because that stuff just refuses to wake up. Nice. I have so much respect for you guys that do peat moss because that just looks it looks awful unless you have one of those big drum deals. But I've been able to make it work with just taking a like metal leaf rake and just going back and forth over it with a rake and getting the seed to settle in. I refuse to do peat moss. That looks awful. A whole 10% better, 90% to go. But yeah, like my whole yard looks unreal. There's a section of my front yard that I haven't fertilized since May of 2019, and like there's no weeds out there right now. I haven't done any weed control. It looks amazing, and it's out in front of a renovation of the Seed Superstore Kentucky Bluegrass mix, and it looks way better. Like I'm sure everybody that walks by is like, why did he kill all that off back there? That looks way worse. That seems like a lot of work for something that that looks terrible. But just wait. I've seen it a couple years now, and that stuff looks unreal when it wakes up. Yeah, man. Cheers. This is PBR is my favorite cheap cheap beer. Oh, nice. I feel like anytime I've watched any peat moss videos, like they should sell that stuff as like a tanning solution, because like you're literally just covered in it from head to toe. And then usually any follow-up videos that I've seen to anybody is like, yeah, no, it rained last night and all the peat moss I put out like actually washed over into this one pile down here. And so now I got to rake it back out. Pretty cool video. Nice, Andy. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at this year too, where I've finally got my property to a point where I feel like I can do projects in other places and also help out, the other yards that I spend time in, which is my brother and mother-in-law's houses. Is usually it's either our house, excuse me, or one of their two houses. And so yeah, I figure I might as well. True Green was taking care of my mother and father-in-law's yard, and it never really looked that great. And so I took that over last year, and then this year we're putting in work at my brother and sister-in-law's house, who have really never like maintained their yard. It's just salad. So hopeful to see running that same program that I did on the side yard, which turned out really well. We're going to spend about $120 for the year on a 4,000 square foot yard and turn it into what is likely going to be the nicest in that neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh man, I don't know. Do we really affiliate? Are there parts of the world where you affiliate PBR with yuppies? Does that just mean that is that basically just insinuating that I should be seated aboard my fixed gear bicycle with my flannel and a thicker beard? Yeah, what are I've seen on Instagram, Super TA, you got all sorts of projects going on there. With do you have like actual? It looks like from videos that you have like sections of your yard dedicated to grass types, where you have Kentucky Blue out front, and then maybe rye and fescue in two sections in the back. This is awesome, by the way. Thank you, every single one of you who are here and actually interactive in the chat. This is awesome. This is always what I hope for, and it's super cool to one have gotten to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you, everyone, for that. That is super awesome. I should probably actually be a little more intentional about thanking everyone in the video coming up here, but I really, really do appreciate that. Everybody who's made it here can tell you, and it probably sounds trite and cliche and all of that, but like it really is it legitimately means a lot to all the people that support and comment and like and do all that stuff. Is so it's yes, it's kind of part of the script to tell everybody to do that and to say that you appreciate it, but it's legitimately like getting comments on videos is the best. And thank you. And hams. Yeah, I certainly don't live in $1 million condo. Although a bunch of fairly expensive homes make my home look very small. Thank you to everyone saying congrats. And yeah, I've had serious disease problems in this yard, and it looks like I might already be starting to have some disease creep up, which is not ideal. But fortunately, I found a bag of Headway G in the garage that I bought last year and never put down, so that's exciting. I can save that $80 a month purchase for at least one more month and put that stuff down here. But yeah, I'm hopeful the kind of brother-in-law project is helpful for folks, because I think even myself and a lot of the programs that I run here um, are expensive. Like if you're gonna do the type of stuff that I do in my backyard and front yard where I'm putting seed down, like that stuff gets expensive, and I'm excited to have uh, some dedicated content on the channel. The Headway G, I believe, covers. Let's see, it's the cost equivalent to the bulletproof strategy, and that covers 10,000. Because I think disease a bag of Disease X covers 5,000 square feet, and the Bio Advanced product covers the same amount of space. And I always need to buy two of each of those to run that bulletproof strategy, which is azoxystrobin and the other one, which is eluding me at the moment. But yeah, Headway G has both of those actives in it, and plus it's a granular, which I just find to be easier to do. Propiconazole, thank you. And I had pendimethalin in my head, and I couldn't get past that to find propiconazole. Um, and yeah, it's just a one stop product. I don't have to put out Disease X and then come back over the top of it with the liquid, and it covers. Fairly certain the preventative rate is 10,000 square feet for a bag, and it's like $82 or something on Do My Own, which is exactly the same price to Disease X and Bio Advanced if you do both of those. I think they're 20 bucks each, basically. Barenbrug and Blue Bank in the backyard, and it's so slow to germinate. Test area with turf type tall fescue. Yeah, that was kind of I made that joke in a video earlier talking about not worrying about if your KBG isn't filled in, don't feel obligated to put seed down, because that's the whole reason why you put it down. It's just a grind to get Kentucky bluegrass established, but once it is, it's going to solve a lot of problems for you. Liquid is oxy and propiconazole. Oh, what's up, Backwoods and Jamie the accountant? Appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to last out here. The sun went down and she got real cold, and I'm not dressed for that. But as long as there are people here, this is I'm hyped. As you can tell, I'm jazzed that people are in here and we're having a little conversation over a nice little PBR and whatever any of you all are drinking. Anybody else gonna be brave, put in a putting green? I know Backwoods is in here. I know he already had one. It's a lot easier than people tell you it is. I would highly recommend it if you play golf and you own a reel mower capable of cutting that short. Lost a comment in there. Yeah, I think Andy, that Disease X, I might get in there pretty soon with the disease preventative, just because I feel like it always sneaks up way earlier than I think it's going to, and especially this year since we had 3-4 days where it was dang near 80, and then it's rained for a couple days since then. The mower you picked up is terrible. What'd you get? I'm in the poor section. That's funny. Yeah, I live on the road that leads to the high-priced subdivisions. Oh man, I've Jacobson 522A. That's what I've been using, and it makes a horrible grinding noise whenever the reel is engaged and spinning. So you did a lot better than I did on the price point, because mine was, I think I paid the guy, what did I pay? 800? I think I paid 800 for it. It's in really good shape, like physically. I just got to figure out what's going on with the drive system. And I think the issue and why like Brett talks a lot about why they're bad is, so I went to see if I could get just the side panel of that thing off. Just like the cover where the belts are underneath, I just wanted to take that off and see if I could just start. I'm not a handy guy, but I was just like, let's see if I can see things and get belts off, maybe look at some pulleys, maybe see if I can get to a bearing and see if it's in bad shape, and then just Lego piece it back together. But the dang thing has, so the clutch for the reel is attached outside of that. So you have the panel that the belts are underneath, and then the clutch piece is over the top of that. So I was like, well, okay, let me see if I can get this off. So I get the little lid, the little end cap off of it, and there's the tiniest little like nut on some rod, all packed in with grease in there to get, it couldn't have been much more than a 1/4 inch nut that you would need to remove to take that piece off. And then once I got that off, I was going to have to get the other clutch, I think, for the drum off before even just being able to get to the belts. And I was like, nah, this is a job for somebody else. So, oh, excuse me, PBR is talking back. But I had planned this last Friday to go down. There's a dealer in northern Chicago. It's about like 45 minutes from me. I was going to drop it off, but had some other stuff come up, so I didn't get to do that. So now it'll probably be a what is it, Memorial Day? Is that the holiday here in May? When I have that Monday off, I'll take it down and just tell them not to call me until I've spent $500, and then let me make decisions after that. Yeah, it's not a nice, not much of a golfer, but would love to get some property and try a tennis court. That would be, oh man, I hadn't thought about how sick it would be to have Wimbledon in your backyard. That's awesome. That would be a nightmare to get flat enough. Because you're gonna have to. I mean, I guess if your lot's really flat, you could, but that's a lot of grading work, um, for for something like that. Because I'm on top dress number 4 to get the putting green to a level of smooth where a ball really rolls well on it. I've top dressed that little section back there 4 times to this point, and it definitely needs a fifth. So, but that would be sick. I'm not very good at it anymore, largely due to the deteriorating athleticism and not doing stuff like that. But I grew up playing tennis. I love tennis. But yeah, giving it away is probably the right play. But the giving away the Jacobsen, but the Honda mower runs like a top. Everything works. It cuts really well. I have never used a Toro, but the operating mechanism on the Jacobsen where the clutch and engagement is in your thumbs on on the handlebar where you don't have to use the lever. And that's actually really slick. You can kind of feather it to make a turn without having to like disengage and re-engage everything. You can kind of just feather it and snap around. So that's kind of a cool thing. I like the idea of having a different mower than what everybody else has on YouTube. But yeah, I know the guy that I picked this Jacobsen up from, just grabbed 4 John Deeres from a local golf course, and I've been talking to him. So I kind of want to have 2 anyway, so I don't have to change the heights all the time back and forth between a half inch and 5/32 or whatever I end up cutting the putting green at. So I'd like to have 2. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go drop off the Jacobsen to get fixed, and then grab myself a John Deere. Or if George is still looking to sell his Greensmaster, maybe I'll go that route too. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really had a POA issue. I'm still yet to identify what my problem grass issue is in the backyard. I have 2 different problem grass issues. One seems to be rhizomatous, and the other is like a Kentucky 31 type fescue that just sits in a clump and looks terrible. But I haven't quite figured out how to deal with them yet. And then I've identified the third problem grass, which is bent grass, which is why I now have a putting green. Lawn Father, what's going on, man? Yeah, everybody I've seen that has either John Deere's or Toros just loves them, and the stuff's all built like tanks. So, also I know if George is still in here, he had asked if I had one of the Jacobsens that had the magnetic bed knife, and I do not. Mine is bolted on, fortunately, and it has stayed the whole time. Oh, let's see. I guess while I got everyone here, I might as well talk a little bit. So the plans going forward: soil test video, video on kind of your plans for doing a putting green. I'm going to incorporate into all of my like fertilizer application videos going forward, discussion on what it costs to put it down, which I've already kind of failed to do in the brother-in-law video. I meant to do that but didn't. I'm going to continue shouting channels out. So please, if you do, I'm starting with very small, very new creators, and it would be very much appreciated if I could shuffle a couple subscribers over there. I know I've shouted out a couple people. I'm going to continue to do those on my kind of vlog style videos. So if you do want to go check those channels out, that would be greatly appreciated. And then yeah, I probably got to do some microgreen and humic coming up here since I've done aerate and RGS. Probably going to be doing mostly 10-10-10 or try out the Yard Mastery 12-12-12 and use that. I don't know if I think a couple people have put that down. I don't know what kind of experience folks have had with that so far. Ugh. You're in your second pre-emergent app already? Man, I guess we had those couple days that were obscenely warm, where I probably was a little bit late with the pre-emergent I put down actually on the in-lawns. But yeah, it's getting cold out here, and I'm in about a half hour. I'm about through this PBR. I just wanted to try this. I had no plan of what I was going to talk about. I had no idea if anybody was going to show up, but I cannot describe how thankful I am to all of you that showed up, hung out and talked in the chat. No. Hold on. I do need to address this backwoods lawn care comment, which by the way, if you aren't subscribed to Backwoods Lawn Care, you absolutely should. Canadian up there in the great north with also another person with a putting green and just does a lot of cool content. Put up a hockey rink this winter, which is awesome. Hand dug my putting green 10 to 12 inches and filled it back in by hand. That is nutty. I just took the soil that was there and hoped for the best, and it's working for me so far. There is a future site for the practice facility where I have probably 6 to 8 inches of gravel that I got to mine out from a parking lot that the previous owner used, and then I'll be able to kind of backfill that in. But that's because I had to. I can't even imagine. Even the 500 square feet I have, I can't even imagine doing that kind of work. That's insane. But yes, thank you all again. Can't say it enough. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for all the interaction here tonight on the live stream. I'll probably do this every so often because I like it. I like the engagement with people, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, with that, I think that's going to do it for this evening. Thank you so much to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Have a great week. Now it's a matter of finding out how I stop being live. But we'll see you guys.